and good morning to all students out there. I hope everybody is in good health and ready for our today's lesson. For today's lesson, we're going to continue our lesson from previous class before the school holiday, which we are still in Unit 4, Shopping Therapy of our English textbook, English Download. And we're going to focus on another skill, which is writing skill. So what are you going to write today? We are going to focus on writing an article. Before we proceed with our lesson, let us look at the content standard and learning standard. For content standard, the main skill is writing 4.2, communicate with appropriate language, form and style. And the complementary skills are speaking 2.4, communicate appropriately to a small or large group on familiar topics, and reading 3.1, understand a variety of text by using a range of appropriate reading strategies to construct meaning. While for the learning standard, the main skills are writing 4.2.1, punctuate written work on a range of text types of reasonable accuracy, and writing 4.2.3, produce a plan or draft and modify this appropriately independently. And for the complementary skills of learning standard, we are looking at speaking 2.4.1, explain the main points of an idea or argument, and reading 3.1.5, recognize independently the attitude or opinion of the writer in extended text on a wide range of familiar topics and some unfamiliar topics. Article: getting your reader's attention. What is an article? A good article must engage the reader, must involve the reader. An article is not as serious in tone as essays, so it is less formal. It gets readers' attention by talking to them in a more direct way. Use words like we and us to make readers feel included in what you are writing about. And when you are writing your article, try putting some of your ideas in the form of question. For example, how would you feel if? In other words, article is a piece of writing that is included with others in a magazine, maybe a newspaper or other publication, and it is different compared to the essay because articles are objective as they describe a topic. Meanwhile, essays are subjective as they analyze and criticize a topic. In a word, an article is like a direct conversation with the reader. You talk with the reader, okay, or with the readers. So, you know the reader. You already know who is the reader. The reader is identified, and it has to get attention, and it has to be interesting. Activity 1. Read these two alternative opening paragraphs. Which one do you think would make most readers continue reading the article? A. Many people spend too much money on new technology these days. They often change their mobile phones every year, for example, as new models are produced. And B. How often do you buy a new mobile phone? We all want to have the latest technology, but are we spending too much money on it? If you look at these two opening paragraphs, there are possible ways of starting the same article, isn't it? So this article maybe is about the money we spend on new technology. Okay, so between A and B, which one do you think would make most readers continue reading the article? You have to remember that you should keep in mind the advice on getting the reader's attention in order to assess each paragraph before you choose the best choice. So which one do you think is the best? Okay, I would agree with you if your answer is B, because you start your essay, or you start your article with questions. That makes it more interesting. Language bank. These are the words and phrases that you may use when you write the opening paragraph for your article. For asking the reader, you may use how often do you, how much do you, could you, would you, can you imagine, have you or do you ever, how would you feel if. And for including the reader, you may use you or your, we or our, and us. Activity 2. Now, read this opening paragraph and use the language bank to help you rewrite it in a more interesting way for a teenage magazine. Teenagers are often told they spend too much money on brand name fashion. They often buy expensive trainers, for example, when cheaper ones are just as good. Okay, students, how would you improve or rewrite this opening paragraph to make it more interesting way for a teenage magazine? You may use the words and phrases from the language bank. Okay, students, so what is your answer? Okay, I'm sharing you the suggested answer for this opening paragraph to make it more interesting way using the words and phrases from the language bank. How much do you spend on new trainers? We all want to have the latest brand name fashion, but are we spending too much money on it? So you see, this is more interesting, right? Compared to the opening paragraph given. Activity 3. Read the following writing task and underline the 3 points that must be included in the article. Then, answer the questions below. So for this task, you have 2 tasks. Okay, the first one, you have to underline the 3 points that must be included in the article, and then you have to answer the 3 questions about the task. Okay, so the task is, you have seen this announcement in an international magazine for teenagers. Articles wanted on 21st century lifestyles. What is the one place where modern teenagers go shopping the most? Sports shops, clothes shops, electronics shops. Tell us what kind of shop, what they want to buy, and why it is important to them. The best article will be published in the next month's magazine. So the 3 questions. The first one, who will be reading the article? Could you use we and us in the article to talk to this type of reader? And number 3, the task asks you to describe why the shop is important to you or young people generally. So students, what are the 3 points that must be included in the article? Okay, very good. The first one is what kind of shop, what they want to buy, number 2, and number 3, why it is important to them. Okay, the following questions, who will be reading the article? Yes, teenagers from all over the world. Question number 2, could you use we and us in the article to talk to this type of reader? Yes, of course. And number 3, the task asks you to describe why the shop is important to you or to young people generally. Okay, absolutely correct. To young people generally. Activity 4. Read the article that was written in answer to the question 3 and answer the questions below it. So for this one, we are going to discuss during the tutorial class. Activity 5. Making comparisons can be a powerful way of explaining what you mean. Read this opinion and write 2 different explanations making comparisons. A lot of teenagers nowadays aren't interested in reading books for pleasure. 1. The old days, now. 2. At school, free time. So for this activity, you have to give your opinion about teenage reading habits and you have to make 2 comparisons. The first is a comparison of reading habits in the past and now, and the second is a comparison between reading at school and reading during free time. And the last activity, activity 6. Read this writing task and then use the plan and the language bank to help you write your article in 140 to 190 words. When you have finished your article, check your work carefully. You have seen this announcement in an international magazine for teenagers. Articles wanted on living in the 21st century. What form of relaxation do teenagers nowadays enjoy most? Meeting friends, using a computer, playing sport? Tell us what kind of relaxation it is, what it's like, and why they enjoy it. The best article will be published in next month's magazine. So remember students, what is the first step? You have to identify the 3 points that you have to cover. So what are the 3 points? The first one is what kind of relaxation it is. Point number 2, what it's like. And point number 3, why they enjoy it. Before you start writing your article, you have to have a plan. Okay, the first format of your article is to write the title. So you can write the title in the middle of your writing. Then, paragraph 1, you introduce the topic and answer the main question in the task. Paragraph 2, describe the form of relaxation. Paragraph 3, give your opinion on why they enjoy it. And paragraph 4 is the conclusion. You comment on your opinion. So you just have to follow this plan to make sure that you write a complete article. Let's give it a try. Catch the attention of your readers by making them think about the topic of the article in their own lives. Do this by asking them questions and including them in what you write. Don't forget to write a title for your article. Okay students, that's all. With that, thank you and see you during tutorial class. Assalamualaikum.